Hello, friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixie Land. My name's Amy, and I'm an ordained minister, and we are in Bible study. We are in the NIV, and we're in the book of Second Chronicles, which is written somewhere in the 500 BCE, and it is during the time of the Babylonian diaspora. Nobody's in the Promised Land. The two countries are both gone. Babylon has conquered all kinds of stuff. So the Assyrians who took the tribes of Israel, the northern tribes, because Judah is in the southern area, and all the rest of the tribes were in the north, in where Jerusalem is geographically located. They were all taken by the Assyrians, but the Babylonians had conquered the Assyrians. The biblical scholars, who I do not even try to argue with, since I'm not one. The education has me having an MBA, which means I'm very particularly good at research, because that's really what it prepares you for. You got to do a bunch of research so you know how to put together certain types of reports in the world of business, and how to project manage and time budget, and how to do that with other people. That's a lot of what an MBA is. I like to dig deep into things. But that doesn't compare to a biblical scholar, because their full-time focus is on this, and I don't have that, so I can respect that in another person. I got other stuff I'm doing over there. So the biblical scholars say it's contemporary with the prophet Ezra, based on the information it has alone. They think it's Ezra who wrote it, because it is from a priestly view, and Ezra is the prophet for that time frame while they're in diaspora. So, and they're scattered in different areas. Nobody even stays with their family. The purposes of these chronicles is for their culture to remember who they were, while they're having an empire try to remove that, so they don't try to rebel, because that's what happens after generations. The Babylonians are just using well-known tactics that everybody has used who has done this empire building that involves conquering of other nations. Chapter 14, verse 1. And Abijah rested with his fathers and was buried in the city of David. Asa, his son, succeeded him as king. And in his days, the country was at peace for 10 years. So these are children of Rehoboam. Well, Abijah is a child of Rehoboam. Now Asa is the child of Abijah, right? So grandson to Rehoboam, great-grandson to Solomon, great-great-grandson to King David. So we're still about 3,000 years ago or so. Well, a little more current than that, but not by much. Asa did what was good and right in the eyes of the Lord his God. He removed the foreign altars and the high places, smashed the sacred stones, and cut down the Asherah poles. That is the symbols of the goddess Asherah, found here and elsewhere in Second Chronicles. Asherah, similar goddesses, can be like a similar, role that she plays, can be found in other cultures and around the different things. And if you think the pole thing is weird, I'm going to go ask you, what exactly do you think a maypole is? You should go take a look. He commanded Judah to seek the Lord, the God, the Father of their fathers, to obey his laws and commands. He removed the high places and incense altars in every town in Judah, and the kingdom was at peace under him. See, worship only God and he gives you peace. He built up the fortified cities of Judah, since the land was at peace. It's hard to build while destruction is coming or happening. Your focus is then on protecting, and you don't have the manpower to stop and worry about building. Yeah, you have to be an empire in order to manage that. No one was at war with him during those years, for the Lord gave him rest. Let us build up these towns, he said to Judah, and put walls around them, with towers and gates and bars. The land is still ours, because we have sought the Lord our God. We sought him, and he has given us rest on every side. So they built and prospered. Asa had an army of 300,000 men from Judah, equipped with large shields and with spears, and 280,000 from Benjamin, so still loyal, right? Armed with small shields and with bows. So there you go. Now you can see the division that they have on there. All these were brave fighting men. Zerah, Zerah, the Cushite, Cushite, marched out against them with a vast army. Hebrew, with an army of thousands, or an army of thousands upon thousands. I think the second one sounds more proper. A vast army, an army of thousands upon thousands. Like they don't even know how many thousands. A lot of thousands. And 300 chariots. And came as far as Marshara. Mareshah. In case I'm pronouncing that wrong. Asa went out to meet him. And they took up battle positions in the valley of Zephathah, Zephathah, near Mareshah. Then Asa called to the Lord his God and said, Lord, there is no one like you to help the powerless against the mighty. Help us, O Lord our God, for we rely on you, and in your name we have come against this vast army. O Lord, you are our God. Do not let man prevail against you. The Lord struck down the Cushites before Asa and Judah. The Cushites fled, and Asa and his army pursued them as far as Gerar, Gerar. Such a great number of Cushites fell that they could not recover. They were crushed before the Lord and his forces. The men of Judah carried off a large amount of plunder. They destroyed all the villages around Gerar, for the terror of the Lord had fallen upon them. They plundered all these villages, since there was much booty there. They also attacked the camps of the herdsmen and carried off droves of sheep, goats, and camels. Then they returned to Jerusalem. I mean, I feel a little bad for the Cushites who weren't involved, like the flock people, the herdsmen who weren't involved in the war. But it's also a case of don't start nothing, and then there won't be nothing. Now they won't have to worry about you again, will they? So, but note, Asa is humble. Then he goes before the Lord and he asks for help. And the Lord shows up for him because he's asking for help and following the law. It's important because it's going to be a repeating message here. The next video is also going to be about Asa. So see you in the next video, friends.